Has Iran quietly put nearly 60,000 Americans on alert with a threat that extends far beyond the battlefield, raising fears of a confrontation few saw coming? Have Tehran's latest military moves and growing regional pressure forced Donald Trump to reconsider his next step, reshaping Washington's calculations on the conflict? Massive wildfires have engulfed parts of Washington state, forcing nearly 60,000 people to evacuate as the fast-moving blaze destroys more than 600 homes and other structures. As devastating wildfires continue to rage across parts of the United States, fresh concerns are emerging over whether Iran's alleged cyber activities are expanding into critical maritime and infrastructure networks. What is fueling the unprecedented wildfire disaster in Washington? And why have firefighters struggled to contain the rapidly spreading infernos despite massive emergency deployments? Are Iran's latest actions part of a broader effort to probe the vulnerabilities of America's critical infrastructure, testing just how far its influence and capabilities can reach without triggering open war? Washington is battling one of its most destructive wildfire disasters in recent memory, with entire neighborhoods reduced to ashes as relentless flames leave a trail of devastation. A massive wildfire continues to rip through the Spokane region, forcing thousands of residents to flee their homes while firefighters struggle to gain ground with the blaze still at 0% containment. At least 15 major wildfires are raging across Washington state, scorching nearly 250,000 acres of land as emergency crews race to contain multiple fast-moving fronts. The Spokane complex fire alone has already consumed more than 7,700 acres, with officials reporting 0% containment as powerful winds continue to drive the flames into new areas. More than 600 homes, businesses, and other structures have been destroyed as the wildfires carve a path of destruction across the Spokane region, leaving entire communities devastated. Authorities have ordered the evacuation of around 60,000 people from the Spokane city limits as multiple wildfires continue to burn unchecked, threatening more neighborhoods and critical infrastructure. Despite the widespread destruction and the speed at which the fires have spread, officials say there have been no reported injuries so far, offering a rare glimmer of hope amid the unfolding disaster. Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown has described the unfolding wildfire emergency as the worst natural disaster in the city's history, saying entire communities have been devastated by the relentless flames. The Old Trails fire has already scorched more than 3,600 acres of land, destroying at least 640 structures as firefighters continue battling the rapidly expanding blaze. The Fairview fire has burned through more than 1,000 acres, with emergency crews battling not only the flames but also extreme weather conditions that continue to hamper containment efforts. The Autumn Lane fire has consumed over 3,300 acres and continues to spread unchecked, with officials yet to establish meaningful containment as dangerous conditions persist. Authorities are still assessing the full extent of the destruction and have not yet confirmed how many of the damaged or destroyed structures were homes, schools, businesses, or other critical buildings. Senator Maria Cantwell says an unprecedented combination of extreme heat, strong winds, and exceptionally dry conditions created the perfect environment for the devastating wildfires to spread. Powerful wind gusts reaching up to 35 miles per hour, combined with hot and exceptionally dry weather, continue to fuel the fast-moving wildfires across the region. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson said President Donald Trump expressed his support for residents affected by the disaster and pledged federal assistance as recovery efforts continue. Firefighters and first responders have been working exhausting shifts lasting up to 30 hours without a break, risking their lives to protect homes, rescue residents, and stop the advancing flames. This comes as America's critical infrastructure faces renewed cyber threat concerns, with investigators examining whether there could be any connection to alleged Iran-linked cyber activity. Cyber attacks have reportedly affected systems across 7 U.S. states, prompting investigators to examine whether the incidents may have any connection to Iranian-linked threat actors. Last week alone, at least 30 municipal water facilities across the United States were reportedly targeted in a wave of cyber incidents between July 26 and July 27, triggering heightened concern among federal authorities. An Iranian newspaper says Tehran's missiles could plunge Gulf Arab states into crisis within half a day if war escalates. Kayhan argues that any attack on Iran's energy infrastructure would be answered by strikes that rattle Arab state systems. The paper's warning came just as Trump halted a major attack plan on Iran's energy sites. Notably, reports point out that the newspaper's editor-in-chief is appointed by the supreme leader, underscoring its political weight. Kayhan newspaper reported, and I quote, "The Islamic Republic is capable of using its missiles to plunge these countries into crisis within half a day. Damage to Iran's energy infrastructure would reduce services but not halt them entirely, while Arab states would face the opposite situation. The Islamic Republic could use its influence to shape internal developments in regional countries and help bring new governments to power." Unquote. Iran's IRGC is reportedly weighing preemptive military strikes if negotiations with the United States collapse, according to the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal cited an Iranian diplomat but did not specify which potential targets could be considered for any such strikes. The report said it remained unclear whether any Iranian response would be directed against U.S. assets, Israel, or both. Meanwhile, regional mediators have continued diplomatic efforts to secure a new ceasefire agreement between Washington and Tehran. The Wall Street Journal reported that Qatari mediators presented Iran with a fresh proposal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. According to the report, Iranian diplomats responded positively to the proposal, raising hopes that a broader compromise could be reached. The proposed arrangement would introduce new shipping traffic patterns designed to facilitate maritime transit through the Strait of Hormuz. The Wall Street Journal said Iran continued to insist on retaining control over at least part of both designated shipping lanes.
I was asked to by Saudi Arabia, by UAE, by Qatar, and by Iran. We were all set to go, just about at this time right now, and it would have been a massive attack. We were all set to go, but when the allies asked to call it off, we got to sort of say, well, let's see. And the reason they asked is I think there's a deal. There's a deal on Hormuz, and then there will be a deal on the nuclear, or you might call it the denuclearization of Iran. I call it the denuclearization of Iran. So we're holding it. We'll just say we can do it anytime we want, but we were asked by the three primary groups. We were also asked by Iran, very strongly, actually. They said, we'd like to make a deal. Now, I don't know what they say, because a lot of times they'll say that to me, and then they'll go out and say, we don't know what he's talking about. Obviously, they don't want to be attacked. And they knew the extent of the attack because they saw it forming. Well, now what we're doing is we're talking to them in the form of a negotiation. It begins tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see if it's true. I'd love to do that, save a lot of lives, save a lot of unnecessary power, to be honest with you. It'll take many, many years to ever build it back. If it could, I don't think it would be even buildable back. So we had an attack that would be the biggest attack since World War II, and it would have been disastrous for them, and they didn't want us to do it. And frankly, Saudi Arabia didn't want it either. They thought that a deal is imminent. And the deal is imminent, having to do with the Hormuz Strait, and also ultimately the denuclearization of Iran. So when I hear that, I say, well, do we want to go and be this? Now, there's a group of people that would like me to just do it. And there's another group of people that does not want me to do it. No, we'll just see how it is. We're ready to go anytime we want. Would I rather make a deal? I'm not looking to kill people, because people die, a lot of people die, and we don't want that. So they asked us, Iran specifically, but the other three said I asked Saudi Arabia, the king, I said, the crown prince, I said, what would you rather do? Would you rather have us do this or not? They said, we would much prefer a deal as opposed to an attack, because you don't know where these attacks lead. I mean, will they be flooded with people pouring into their country and disaster? A lot of bad things can happen. Yes.
With Oman, as a coastal government, we are obligated to ensure safe shipping of ships through the Strait of Hormuz and to cooperate with each other. We need to reach a clear mechanism. The goal of these talks, as I said, from the days of the agreement on a ceasefire and then the agreement to end the war, meaning it began on June 18th, was that we agree on a route that both sides agree on, that it serves our interests. Because, look, the Hormuz Strait will in no way return to the status it was before February 28th. We had very tough experiences in these past few months. So we must ensure that the Strait of Hormuz does not become an area of exploitation by the parties attacking us. What's necessary is that we adopt a mechanism so that Iran's sovereignty rights are fully respected. Our talks with Oman are bilateral talks. They don't concern anyone else. Over the past 24 hours, we received numerous calls from Britain, Bulgaria, and Ukraine. Since you saw there were incidents in news stating they had provided their bases to America, and we had warned them, saying that they would not be part of the war against Iran.